It was a sunny afternoon when Mary pulled her truck into Johnson's auto shop. Mary, a widow in her late 50s and a proud Trump supporter, always wore her favorite MAGA hat wherever she went. Today, it perched comfortably on her head as she stepped out of her pickup. The truck had been making a strange rattling sound for days, and she needed it fixed before the weekend. Her grandson had a little league game, and she wouldn't miss it for the world. The shop was small but busy, with 3 mechanics working on various vehicles. As Mary walked in, she saw Joe, the shop owner, behind the counter. Joe had worked on her truck for years and always treated her kindly. "Afternoon, Joe," Mary said, placing her keys on the counter. "I think the old girl's got a loose muffler or something. Can you take a look?" Joe smiled warmly. "Of course, Mary. Let me grab one of the guys." He turned and called over a younger mechanic named Aaron. Aaron was new, a lanky man in his early 30s with a sharp jawline and tattoos covering his arms. He approached the counter, wiping grease off his hands with a rag. "This is Aaron," Joe said. "He's one of my best. He'll check out your truck." Aaron glanced at Mary, his eyes lingering on her hat. His smile faded and his tone turned curt. "Sure, I'll get to it when I can." Mary noticed the shift but didn't comment. She simply nodded and took a seat in the waiting area. An hour passed, then 2. Mary watched as other customers came and went, their cars serviced quickly. But her truck sat untouched in the lot. Finally, she approached the counter again. Joe was on the phone, so she turned to Aaron, who was leaning against the wall, scrolling on his phone. "Excuse me," Mary said politely. "Any idea when you'll get to my truck? I've been waiting a while." Aaron barely looked up. "Yeah, I'll get to it when I'm done with the others." Mary frowned. "I've been here for 2 hours. You've serviced 3 cars that came in after me." Aaron shrugged. "Priorities." Mary's jaw tightened, but she kept her voice steady. "Is this about my hat?" Aaron smirked. "What if it is?" "Look, lady, people like you come in here flaunting that thing like it's something to be proud of. You think it doesn't offend people?" Mary stared at him for a moment, then turned to Joe, who had just hung up the phone. "Joe," she said, her voice calm but firm, "I think we need to talk." Joe looked between Mary and Aaron, frowning. "What's going on?" Mary gestured toward Aaron. "Your mechanic here seems to have a problem with my hat, and it's affecting his ability to do his job." Joe's face darkened. "Aaron, is this true?" Aaron shrugged again, avoiding eye contact. "It's not just the hat, it's what it represents. I don't feel comfortable working on her truck." Joe's tone was sharp. "Aaron, this is a business. We don't pick and choose who we help based on personal opinions." Aaron folded his arms. "Well, maybe I don't want to work for someone who doesn't stand for the right things." Joe sighed, shaking his head. "Mary, give me 10 minutes. I'll personally take care of your truck." "Thank you, Joe," Mary said, her voice steady but tinged with frustration. As Joe walked out to the lot, Mary turned back to Aaron. "Son, let me tell you something. I've been through a lot in my life. I've seen this country at its best and worst, and I've fought for what I believe in. You don't have to like my hat, but you do have to respect that I have every right to wear it." Aaron rolled his eyes. "Yeah, well, maybe you should think about what it means to other people." Mary's eyes softened, but her tone was firm. "And maybe you should think about what it means to someone like me. This hat isn't about hate. It's about hope. For a better future, for my grandkids. You don't have to agree, but don't let your assumptions make you bitter." Aaron didn't reply, but something in his expression shifted. 15 minutes later, Joe returned with her truck keys. "All set, Mary. Loose muffler, just like you thought. No charge for today." Mary smiled, touched by his kindness. "Joe, you're too good to me. Thank you." As she climbed into her truck, Aaron stepped out of the shop, watching her drive away. He didn't say anything, but for the first time, he seemed to be reconsidering his stance. Mary drove off, her MAGA hat still perched proudly on her head. She knew she couldn't change everyone's mind, but she also knew that standing her ground with grace and dignity was its own kind of victory. That's our little story for today. Drop down in the comments and subscribe for more stories.